Ladies and gentlemen, let me share something that truly transformed my life. One day, a mentor looked me straight in the eye and said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better." That statement hit me hard because here's the truth. Many people spend their lives hoping the world will change, that their job will become easier, the economy will improve, or that others will finally recognize their efforts. But real progress doesn't happen when life becomes simpler. It happens when you become stronger, sharper, and wiser. The key isn't waiting for the storm to pass, it's learning how to navigate through rough winds. Success doesn't come from hope, it comes from skill. It doesn't respond to complaints, it responds to competence. Success doesn't arrive for those who wish, it comes to those who work. So I ask you, are you using your energy hoping things will change? Or are you focusing on becoming the person who can handle whatever comes your way? This message isn't for the faint-hearted. It's for the builders, the learners, the doers. If you're ready to stop waiting and start growing, stay with me, because what follows might be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Life is meant to challenge you, not to comfort you. Here's something that might surprise you. Life isn't supposed to be easy. It won't just hand you everything you want. Life isn't your servant. It's your coach. And coaches don't spoil you, they push you. I didn't always understand this. When I was younger, I wished things were easier. I used to wonder why everything felt like an uphill battle. But then I received this lesson, and I hope you take it to heart. Don't wish for life to be easier. Wish to become better. Now let me explain what challenges really are. Challenges aren't walls blocking your path. They're mirrors reflecting who you are. Life says, here's delay. What will you do? Here's pressure. How will you respond? Here's disappointment. Will you grow bitter or better? Too many people react by complaining, blaming, or giving up, saying life isn't fair. But I say, of course it's not fair. That's the point. Fear doesn't make you strong. Struggle does. Fear doesn't teach patience. Difficulty does. Fear doesn't demand growth. Life does. Understand this. If you remove the challenge, you remove the lesson. If you remove the obstacle, you remove the opportunity. That mountain ahead of you, it's not a punishment. It's proof that there's something inside you ready to climb. Don't resent the mountain. Be grateful for the climb ahead, because on the other side awaits a version of yourself you've never met. Here's the truth. If life were easy, you'd be bored, weak, and without stories, strength, or victories. You don't build muscle by lifting feathers. You don't develop character by avoiding the heat. And you don't create a life worth living by running from discomfort. Want the good news? Life will give you exactly the challenges you need to become the person you're meant to be. That truth might either inspire you or intimidate you, and your response will shape your future. Think about this. When was the last time you said, "This is hard," and actually smiled? Ever done that? That's power. That's when the game changes, because at that moment, you're no longer a victim, you're a player. You're not waiting for mercy anymore, you're building mastery. The challenge isn't blocking your path, it is the path. So here's a mindset to adopt. Don't ask for fewer problems, ask for more wisdom. Don't wish for easier days, work for greater discipline. Don't seek less pressure. Grow the shoulders strong enough to carry more. And here's what happens when you improve. Everything else feels lighter, not because the burden has changed, but because you have. Let me finish with this. You weren't made to be pampered or sheltered. You were made to grow, to stand tall, and to lead. So next time life gets tough, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." That's when life knows you're ready. Complaining is a poverty habit. Trade it for learning. Now let's have an honest conversation about one of the most costly habits you can develop. No, it's not overspending, overeating, or even procrastinating, though those are close. It's complaining. Complaining is the language of poverty. Mental, emotional, spiritual, and eventually financial poverty. Don't get me wrong. We all get frustrated and disappointed. We all have moments when we throw up our hands and say, "Why is everything so difficult?" But here's the difference. Successful people might feel frustration, but they don't live there. There's a line between venting and building a life based on excuses. Some people have made complaining their full-time job. No resume, no income. But they show up every day, right on time. Here's the formula. When you complain, you lose twice. Once in the moment and once in the lesson you miss. Every difficulty has two parts, the problem and the wisdom. Complaining blocks the wisdom. When your mouth is full of grumbling, your mind shuts down to growth. I learned this early. The person who complains the most learns the least. Why? Because they focus on what happened instead of asking, what can I learn from this? Life will hand you dirt, but it's your choice whether to plant something in it or just roll around feeling sorry for yourself. You've heard people say it's always something. Maybe you've been that person, complaining it's too hot or too cold, wanting more money but whining about more responsibility. That's not a tough life. That's a weak mindset. If you want life to improve, graduate from blame and enroll in personal responsibility. Here's the key. Every time you feel the urge to complain, pause and replace it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What can I improve next time? What does this reveal about your habits, your mindset, and your preparation? Complaining never improves the situation, but learning does. It ensures you handle challenges better next time. Let me be clear. Winners are learners, while losers linger. Winners learn from every setback. Losers just stay stuck. They replay the same complaints over and over. Some people spend years stuck complaining about a bad month. That's not just poor thinking, it's a poverty mindset. Break that habit tonight. Here's what I want you to do. Start keeping a learning journal, not a complaint diary. Write down what happened, how you reacted, what you learned, and what you'll do differently next time. Soon, life won't feel like it's happening to you. It will feel like it's happening for you because it always has been. You just couldn't see that through the fog of your own complaints. Let me close with a challenge for the next 7 days. No complaining, not about the weather, your boss, traffic, or even your aches and pains. Replace every complaint with a lesson and watch your mindset shift, your energy increase, and your progress skyrocket. Success is allergic to complainers, but embraces those who are students of life. So remember, complaining is a poverty habit. Break it, replace it, and rise with the mindset of a learner. When you stop complaining, you start growing. And when growth begins, life opens up in ways you never imagined. This is the magic of skill. You can always improve. Let's talk about one of the greatest gifts you've ever been given. No, it's not talent, money, or luck. It's this, the ability to get better. That's right. You can improve at anything, any time. No permission needed, no gatekeeper required. That's real magic. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't a miracle, fate, or waiting for external circumstances to change. It's skill. And the best part, skill is learnable. You weren't born knowing how to speak, lead, sell, or solve problems. You learned those things. What you've learned, you can build on. What you don't know, you can pursue. What you're weak at, you can strengthen. Some say, I'm just not good at that. That's not a fact. It's a story. Change the story and you change the outcome. You're not bad at something. You're just unpracticed. Practice, my friend, leads to progress. Progress builds confidence, and confidence creates success. Let me be straightforward. Skill turns average into exceptional, potential into profit. Skill takes someone from humble beginnings and places them on stages around the world. I didn't wish for better results. I worked on better skills. Now, let's get practical. Want to make more money? Learn a valuable skill. Want to lead your team better? Master communication. Want to overcome your own excuses? Build discipline as a skill. Success isn't a one-time event. It's a compounding effect created by the person who says, I'll read the book, take the course, stay up late, show up early, and push myself. That's how skill grows. Not overnight, but day by day. Talent is nice, but talent without skill is a wasted seed. Talent is potential, skill is power in motion. It's the person who practices piano who fills the concert hall, not just the one born with talent. So let me say it again. Skill is the great equalizer. Doesn't matter where you started, who doubted you, or how many times you failed. Skill says, show up and I'll reward you. So here's the question. What skill are you actively developing right now? Not just thinking about, not planning to, and definitely not just wishing for. I mean, what are you working on today that will make you more valuable tomorrow? Because here's the truth. Money follows value, value follows skill, and skill follows effort. If you want more from life, you have to invest more in yourself. Start where you are, start small, but start now. If you improve just one skill a year, public speaking, sales, leadership, time management. In 5 years, you'll be 5 times more valuable. And when you're 5 times more valuable, you don't just earn more, you attract more. Opportunity doesn't have to be chased, it finds you. Let me close this out. Skill is the bridge from wishing to winning. It's the path from where you are to where you want to be. And the best part, it's available to anyone, including you. So pick a skill, work on it, sharpen it, build it, stack it. As you get better, everything around you improves too. That's the magic of it. Success isn't easier for others. They're just better at something. Do you ever look at someone successful and think, must be nice, they have it easier, they probably had a head start. Here's a message for you. Success isn't easier for others, they're just better at something. No mystery, no magic, no secret handshake behind the curtain. They developed a skill, they built a mindset, they practiced a habit. They made the decision to get better, not bitter. Now don't get me wrong, life isn't always fair. Some people do get a head start, some have more tools. But here's what I've learned. Success isn't about where you start, it's about where you start. Success isn't about where you start, it's about where you start. And most people never do. They're too busy comparing, complaining, explaining why it's easier for everyone else. But the truth is, everyone has their own mountain to climb. The difference, some just have better boots. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I didn't grow up with much. I was broke at 25. I blamed everything, the government, the company, the economy, the weather. Then one day, someone changed my life with this hard truth. Your problem isn't the world, your problem is you. That was tough to hear, but it started my transformation. Because once you stop blaming, you start building. Here's what successful people do. They identify the gap and close it. They figure out what they're missing, a skill, a discipline, a relationship, a resource, and they get to work. They don't waste time asking, why is it easier for her? They ask, what can I learn from her? That's the difference. Let's get practical. See someone succeeding in business, they probably learned how to sell. They read books, made calls, took hits. See someone with influence, they probably learned how to speak. They practiced until their voice carried weight. See someone with freedom, they probably learned how to manage money, discipline themselves, strategize, and delay gratification. It wasn't easier, it was earned. And here's one more thing. Success leaves clues. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Follow the path. Don't envy the person with the mansion. Study their methods. Don't resent the woman with the results. Mirror her routines. Because if you do what they do, you can have what they have. So here's my challenge for you tonight. Instead of feeling behind, get busy catching up. Instead of comparing yourself, start preparing. Instead of scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel, focus on building your own. Open a book, take a course, join a mastermind. Whatever it takes to learn the skill that makes the difference. Success isn't reserved for a few. It's earned and rewards those who show up, train hard, and keep leveling up. You might say, I'm not there yet. That's good. It means you have something to build, and when you build it, you'll truly own it. There's something powerful about earning your confidence. Not borrowing it, not faking it, but working for it. Here's the bottom line. Nobody has it easier. They simply worked harder, longer, and smarter at something that made them valuable. The great news? You can do the same. Starting today, stop saying, I wish I had their life, and start saying, I'm ready to build mine. Success isn't easier for them. They're just better at something. Now it's your turn. You don't need fewer problems. What you really need is more capacity. Let me be honest. This truth might hit hard. Fewer problems won't come, but growing your capacity to handle them will. You might be thinking, you don't know what I'm dealing with, but the truth is, everyone has problems. The rich, the poor, the strong, and the weak all face challenges. Even the person smiling on Instagram has problems. They just filter them better. Life isn't about escaping difficulties. It's about outgrowing them. The goal isn't a problem-free life. That's a fantasy, like a theme park. This is real life, and problems don't stop showing up. What changes is your ability to handle them. The key isn't making life easier. It's making yourself bigger than what you face. Here's what changed everything for me. I used to pray, please take away my problems. But they didn't disappear. So instead, I stopped praying for less pressure and started training for more resilience. I stopped wishing for calm waters and learned how to sail through the storm. Imagine this, you have a bucket and life begins pouring water, stress, deadlines, bills, setbacks. You can beg life to stop pouring, or you can get a bigger bucket. Which do you think works better? You can't control the water, but you can control the size of your container. That's capacity. That's personal growth. Now be honest, are you growing your capacity or just wishing life would slow down? When you grow, the same problems that once stressed you now meet your calm. The pressures that used to break you now build you. The crises that knocked you down now find you standing taller. Why? Because you got bigger. Growing capacity involves training your mind like an athlete trains their body. Read, journal, reflect, and learn. Emotional maturity is just as important. Not everything needs a reaction. Learn to pause, breathe, and choose your response instead of reacting impulsively. Physical endurance matters too. Your body fuels your clarity and momentum. Take care of yourself because life is a marathon, not a sprint. Lastly, spiritual grounding is key. Know who you are, what you believe in, and hold to your values even when the pressure is high. When you grow all these areas, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, you expand your bucket. Life can pour in the same amount, but you won't drown. You'll thrive. The secret is this. The higher you want to climb, the more pressure you have to handle. And those at the top, they have built the capacity to carry it. They're not where they are because life was easier. They got there because they built the muscle to carry more than most people are willing to bear. That's leadership. That's success. That's character. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't say this is too much. Say this is showing me where I need to grow. It's not the world that needs to shrink, it's you that needs to expand. When you do, problems stop looking like mountains and start looking like stepping stones. And let me close with this. Don't ask for lighter burdens, ask for broader shoulders. Because when you build capacity, life doesn't have to change, you do. And when you change, you can carry more, lead more, do more, be more. That's the magic. That's the mindset. That's the path. Mindset is muscle. And it needs daily reps. Let me say something that might change how you start tomorrow morning. Your mindset is a muscle, not a mystery, not magic, a muscle. And just like any other muscle, if you don't work it, you lose it. If you don't stretch it, feed it, and strengthen it every day, it gets lazy, weak, soft. See, the difference between a winner and a worrier is not circumstance, it's conditioning. You condition your mindset the same way you condition your body, with reps, daily reps, mental reps, thought reps. Now, some folks say to me, I just want to feel more confident. All right, confidence isn't a feeling, it's a result. And that result comes from repetition. Confidence is what happens after you show up over and over, even when you didn't feel like it. You read the book, kept your promises, followed through. That's where mindset grows strong. Remember this, negativity is weight. Discipline is a rep. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, that's a rep. Every time you replace I can't with let's see how I can, that's a rep. Every time you speak life into your day instead of doubt, that's a rep. Over time, those reps stack, build, and compound. Suddenly, you're thinking differently, reacting differently, living differently. Why? Because you've been training. Now, let me tell you what most people do. They go to the gym once and wonder why they still look the same. They read one book and wonder why their life didn't change. They say one affirmation and expect their fear to disappear. But this isn't magic, it's muscle. And muscle takes consistency. If you don't build your mind daily, the world will build it for you. And the world will feed it with fear, excuses, doubt, distraction. So you've got to train your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Let's get practical. Want to build mindset? Here's your gym. First, books. They're the weights for your thoughts. Second, journaling. Reflection is mental stretching. Third, affirmation. Speak truth until it becomes instinct. Fourth, challenges. Don't avoid resistance, embrace it. Fifth, people. Surround yourself with strong minds. Weak minds are contagious. Let me ask you, how much time do you spend preparing your mind before your day begins? You brush your teeth every day? Great. You comb your hair every day? Excellent. But do you condition your thinking every day? Because your mind is the filter for your entire life. If it's cluttered, everything feels harder. If it's focused, everything gets clearer. Here's a tip that changed my life. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Most people wake up and the first thing they do is check their phone. And guess what that does to you? Let the world not program your mindset before you do. Don't let the news, the inbox, or the comment section condition your day. You condition it. Wake up and feed your mind something strong. Gratitude, goals, growth. That's a mindset rep. Here's the big idea, friends. Your life will never grow bigger than your mindset. Your relationships, your income, your leadership, your peace. It all rises or falls on the quality of your thinking. Let me wrap this up. You don't get the mindset of a champion by accident. You build it rep by rep, choice by choice, thought by thought. And one day you wake up and realize you're not afraid anymore. You're not stuck anymore. You're not doubting yourself every time the wind blows. Why? Because you did the work. You trained the muscle. You built a mindset that can hold up your goals and carry your future. So remember, this mindset is muscle, and today is arm day. Let's get to work. Be thankful for the struggle. I know that's not easy, not popular, and it's definitely not the message we hear on TV or scrolling through social media, but it's truth. And truth doesn't always feel good at first, but it works. See, the struggle isn't in the way, it is the way. It's not the enemy, it's the engine. If you learn to be grateful for it, to embrace it, to squeeze out every bit of growth from it, you'll wake up one day and realize the struggle was shaping you into someone who could win. Here's something I learned. Easy times don't build anything worth keeping. It's the hard times that carve character, the tough days that develop toughness. It's the challenges that shape champions. You show me a strong person, and I'll show you someone who's been through something. Not someone who avoided it, but someone who went through it and grew through it. And you say, I don't want the pain. Of course not. Nobody does. But here's the paradox. Pain is part of the price of purpose. No pressure, no diamond. No struggle, no strength. No fire, no refining. You want the rewards? You've got to face the resistance. Most people treat struggle by running from it, cursing it, praying it away. But the successful, they thank it, study it, leverage it. They say, this isn't here to destroy me. It's here to develop me. Think about the gym. That pain in your muscles after a hard workout. That's not a problem. That's progress. That's your body saying, we're building something here. Well, life's the same way. That frustration, failure, setback, it hurts, yes, but it's feedback. It's growth happening in real time if you choose to use it. Here's a new perspective. Next time you're in a tough season, don't just ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? Because life never wastes a struggle. There's always something in it, a lesson, a strength, a turning point. But you have to look for it. You have to mine for it. Because growth doesn't shout, it whispers. And you've got to be quiet enough to hear it through the noise of discomfort. Hear this. Gratitude and struggle is the beginning of transformation. When you can look at the storm and say, thank you, you're teaching me something. When you can stand in the valley and say, I'm learning things here I couldn't learn on the mountain. That's when you become unstoppable, not just successful, substantial, not just rich, resilient. Anyone can be happy when it's easy, but true strength is forged when it's not. Let me give you a simple formula. Struggle plus reflection equals strength. Struggle plus bitterness equals stagnation. The struggle itself is neutral. It's your response that decides your result, and your response, that's your power. Let me close with this. Be thankful for the struggle because it means you're in the game. It means you're alive. It means you haven't settled. It means you're building the you that can carry the dream you say you want. Don't pray it away. Grow through it. Don't resist it. Receive it. Because on the other side of struggle is the version of you that wins. And that's who we came here to become. The better you get, the better life gets. Let me give you a principle tonight. So simple, so powerful, and so life-changing. If you get it, it will change the way you approach everything here. It is the better you get, the better life gets. Not the weather, not the economy, not the company, you. When you get better, everything around you improves. You say, I want a better job, okay, get better skills. You say, I want better relationships, great, get better communication, get better patience. You say, I want more money, perfect, get more value. You don't chase more money, you become more valuable, and money follows value. Now, most people get this backwards. They say, when the economy gets better, then I'll do more. When my boss gets better, I'll work harder. When people treat me right, I'll show up different. But that's not how it works. You don't wait on the world waits on you, because your results are a reflection of you, not the whole world. Ever clean the windshield of your car when it's dirty? Everything looks distorted. Did the world get brighter when you clean the glass? No, you just improve the lens. That's what happens when you get better. Life doesn't suddenly become easier. You see clearer, you think sharper, you act wiser, and that changes everything. Here's a secret. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. You don't beg for opportunity. You become the person who belongs in the room and the door's open. You don't demand respect. You live in such a way that people can't help but respect you. You don't wish for abundance. You develop the disciplines that produce it. And that's the shift. So here's the question I want you to ask tonight. How can I get better? Not how can my spouse get better? Not how can my coworkers get better? Not how can my circumstances improve? But how can I grow? Because the better you get, the more capable you are, the more resilient you are, the more attractive you are mentally, emotionally, professionally. And when you rise, so does the quality of your life. Now, let me be clear. This is a process, not an event. You don't become a new person over. You chip away day by day, habit by habit, thought by thought. But oh, the compound effect is incredible. One small improvement in your discipline leads to a change in your routine, which changes your results, which changes your confidence, which changes your direction, which ultimately changes your destiny. So if life is stuck, if you feel like you're on repeat, if you're waiting on a breakthrough, don't just look at what needs to change around you. Look at what needs to grow within you, because you can't have more until you become more. And that's not punishment. That's a powerful principle and truly one of the greatest lessons in success I've ever learned. Let me close this out with a challenge. Make this your new motto. I'm going to get better no matter what. Not just when it's easy, not just when people cheer you on, but when no one's watching. You grow quietly, you read, you reflect, you improve, you sharpen your thinking, deepen your character, and strengthen your resolve. And here's what happens. One day, you look up and your life feels easier. But it's not because life got easier, it's because you got better. And that, my friend, is the name of the game. Raise your standards, then match them with action. Let me give you one of the greatest turning points in your life, one of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make. Raise your standards. That's right, raise them. Because your standards set the floor of your life, not the ceiling, the floor. You'll never go lower than your standards, but you'll also never go higher than your willingness to live up to them. Now, hear me on this. Everybody wants more. More success, more health, more love, more income, more peace of mind. But very few are willing to say, this is the new minimum I will accept for myself. That's the real shift. That's the difference between wishing and working, between desire and discipline. Don't misunderstand me. There's nothing wrong with wanting more, but want is weak. Without commitment, you don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. So if you tolerate chaos, you'll live in it. If you tolerate excuses, you'll repeat them. If you tolerate mediocrity, you'll stay stuck in it. But the day you say, enough, this is not who I am anymore, that's when everything starts to change. Let me give you an example. Someone says, I want to get in shape, but they keep eating the same, sleeping the same, skipping workouts. That's not a standard, that's a fantasy. You want to be fit? Make it a standard. I don't skip my health, period. You want to grow your business? Raise the standard. I don't end the day without doing something to move forward. You want better relationships? Raise the standard. I don't speak to people I love with disrespect. Don't just write goals, write rules, personal rules, and live by them. Now here's the second half of the equation. Raise your standards, yes, but then match them with standards without action. That's just ego, just talk. It's writing pretty things on a vision board and hoping the universe pays attention. Listen, the universe doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to work. So when you raise the standard, make sure your daily behavior backs it up. You say you're a professional, show up like one. You say you value your time, guard it like it matters. You say you want to grow, then stretch, sweat, sacrifice. That's how you live up to what you say you believe. Now, let me tell you what happens when you do, when you start holding yourself to higher standards, even when nobody's watching. You walk different, you talk different, you think different, people start to notice, opportunities start to appear, life starts matching your new level of seriousness, not because you got lucky, but because you got committed. So let me ask you tonight, what are you tolerating that you shouldn't be? Where have your standards slipped? What excuses are you still accepting from yourself? Call it out, write it down. Decide that version of you is no longer in charge. And then don't just raise the standard, rise to meet it, because that's where transformation lives, right there, in the uncomfortable place between what you expect and what you're willing to do. Let me close this out here. Don't lower your standards just to fit your comfort zone. Instead, raise your behavior to match your vision. Hold yourself to a higher code, one that doesn't flinch under pressure, one that doesn't vanish when things get hard. Raise it, match it, live it, and the world will rise to meet you. Because when your standards go up, so does your life. Becoming so good that you make the hard look easy. Let me tell you what excellence really looks like. It's not loud or flashy, and it doesn't need to announce itself. You know what real excellence looks like? It looks easy. Not because it is easy, but because the person doing it has become so good, they make it look that way. You've seen a world-class athlete move with grace, a concert pianist play flawlessly, or a speaker command the room with a whisper. That's not natural talent alone, that's refined skill. That's not a trick, that's training. You don't get to that level by hoping or winging it. You get there by practicing until your performance becomes instinct. Skill at the highest level looks like ease, but don't confuse the outcome with the effort. What you're seeing is mastery, and mastery comes from repetition, obsession, and discipline. They've done it so many times that the moves become automatic, decisions swift, and presence magnetic. Not because it's easy, but because they earn the right to make it look that way. Now here's the challenge for you. Become so good that your excellence becomes quiet confidence. So good that people don't just hear your words, they feel your weight. So good that you stop needing to convince anyone because your results do the talking. So good that the hard things, you make them look effortless because you've trained for it. You might say, I'm not there yet. That's okay. Nobody starts there. But you start. You do the reps, you do the reading, you show up when it's boring, you stick with it when nobody's watching. One day, that thing that used to intimidate you, you walk into it with grace, not because it stopped being hard, but because you got strong. Let me give you a word of warning. Most people quit too soon. They try something once, twice, maybe 3 times, then say, it's not for me. No, it's not that it's not for you. It's you haven't become good at it yet. The hard is still visible because you haven't done enough work to make it invisible. And that's okay, but don't stop when it's hard. Keep going until you make it look easy. Excellence isn't the absence of difficulty, it's the mastery of it. You've got to learn to dance with difficulty, wrestle with repetition. You've got to fall in love with boring consistency, because that's the path to effortless greatness. Let me close with this. Don't aim to just get by. Don't aim to be average. Don't aim to be pretty good. Become exceptional. Become undeniable. Become so good they can't forget you, can't ignore you, can't replace you. And when they ask, how do you make it look so easy? Just smile, because you'll know the truth. It wasn't easy. It was earned. Get better, keep getting better, and watch life get sweeter. Let me leave you with this. The real magic of life isn't in what you get. It's in who you become. You want the secret, the strategy, the formula for turning things around? Here it is, plain and simple. Get better, keep getting better, and life will get sweeter. Too many people wait for life to improve. They wait for the boss to change, the government to change, the company to change, even their spouse to change. But here's what I've learned, and I hope you take it with you tonight. When you get better, everything starts to shift. Not overnight, but soon enough, you'll notice the days get clearer, the path straighter, the weight lighter, not because the world got easier, but because you grew into someone stronger. So here's the call. Never stop becoming. Get better at thinking, get better at speaking, get better at serving, get better at showing up on time, prepared, energized, and ready to deliver excellence. The future doesn't belong to the talented. It belongs to the trained. Those who say, I'll keep getting better no matter what. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need the courage to take the next step, the discipline to stay consistent, and the wisdom to know that if you keep planting, keep watering, and keep growing, the harvest will come. So tonight, make this your decision. I'm going to get better. Then I'm going to keep getting better, and I'm going to watch life respond to my effort, because it will. It always does. Life rewards those who take responsibility for their own growth. You get stronger, life gets lighter. You get wiser, opportunities show up. You get focused, distractions fade away. And one day, you'll look back and realize all the effort, all the struggle, all the consistency turned into confidence. It turned into freedom. It turned into a life that doesn't need defending. It just makes sense. So here's your final line. Write it down, hang it up, live by it. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better, then become better, then keep becoming better, and watch life get sweeter. That's the work. That's the reward. And you're worth it.